Hey guys, it's Jess, and this is long overdue, as all of my videos are always way overdue. This is the second part to the 23andMe journey. I had mentioned, I think, that my mom was adopted, so a lot was a mystery. I won a second 23andMe test. I had my mom take it, and it influenced the results, and I felt that was really important, so I did wait to do everything because I knew it was going to fluctuate and I'd get more answers. I guess I'll start with what I expected. I expected a little bit of German, probably a little bit of French. We heard that on my mom's side that her father might have been French. Basically just English and Irish. I was like 99.9% sure. I was probably like 90% that. So my mom did take the test. We found some cousins, and we are very, very close to possibly finding her mother. I think we found the family that she belongs to the T. We found some relatives, and the pictures are almost like identical to my mother. And I look like my mother, and my daughter looks like me, and it's just strange. It's so strange. So, you also get some really cool genetic things. I did take the medical part too, or to get, like, if you're a carrier for certain things. Lactose intolerance was something it said I probably was, which I am lactose intolerant, no surprise. The other medical things were possibly cystic fibrosis, which is in my family, so I am a carrier for that. If my partner was a carrier for that, which they aren't, thank goodness. And then also, I'm a carrier for fructose allergies. You also get percentages of, like, you know, your odds of having blue eyes. I have blue eyes. My odds of that were pretty high. However, I am a blonde. I am ash blonde. I only had like an 8% chance of being blonde, and it pulled through. It also said I wasn't supposed to have dimples. I have had those all my life. It was just some really cool things, but basically I really just want to go through Ancestry. It looks like a beginning of a really scary story. And so she was going to give the DNA results and found out she was 99.9% werewolf! Although, I would be really excited about that. It's not really a bad thing. Darn, I was hoping for that. Congratulations, you're not human. 99.9% not human. That would be awesome. It does have this, like, joke thing where it says, you're 100% you, and so it was like, you're 100% Jess, and I'm like, I freaking knew it. Anyway, so let's get down to the results. They do say that you usually come up with, like, a 0.1% of something because we all started somewhere, and we traveled. So my 0.1% came from South Asia, which was really cool just to know. That's pretty cool to me, even though it's like almost none of my makeup, but it's still there. It still counts for something. So I said I was going to be European, which I am. I am 99.8% European. However, the breakdown of that was extremely surprising. So 95.6 was Northwestern European. I am 64% British and Irish. That is not a surprise to me. French and German. It turns out we were more French than we thought. It came out 10.1. That was thunder. That was terrifying, but I love thunder, so I'm also very excited. I'm very happy. Anyway, so I did find out I'm 10.1% French and German, and like I said, that is not surprising to me. We heard he was French, and anyway, this was the big surprise for me. I've heard of some things coming up, but not as high as I thought. It turns out I am Scandinavian, and while it said I'm like 5% Scandinavian, it turns out, especially comparing to the cousins and other DNA and the DNA sharing, I am about 20% broadly Northwestern European, and that covers the French, Norway, Iceland, all the Scandinavian parts, and more Irish, Ireland and things like that. So I'm sure some of that percentage comes from that as well, the ones that you can't exactly pinpoint. But it turns out that it looks like from the DNA that is comparable to the other family members that we had found, that primarily is Scandinavian, which is extremely cool. I think it said something about being one of our family members like being strongly Icelandic, which is pretty cool. And that was a surprise. I had no idea that was in my DNA, and I like freaked out, and that's probably one of the things I was most excited about, because you have the stories of like the Vikings and things like that, and it's freaking awesome. this was the last surprise. So we did have the 0.1% Asian, I'm sorry, South Asian. This was another one, Southern European, more European. I was not shocked. It was 3.3% Southern European, Iberian. And I had actually, and I know it sounds so bad, I was never good at placement of places. And I did find out, I had to look it up, and it turns out that the peninsula of Iberia is represented by the people of Spain and Portugal. Genetically, these people have a deep connection to the rest of Europe, so I'm guessing that's why. I was very confused about that. I guess it's a mountain range. Iberia is like a mountain range, but like that's predominantly Spain and Portugal. And I'm not sure where those genes set in, but I expected like that. When I saw Iberian, I was like, it's probably like 0.1%. But I did look, and I mean, it's about 3%, so it kind of threw me off guard. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's still one of those things that you kind of are like, oh, okay, that's strange, but all right, I'll go for it. Other than that, it's a really cool app, 23andMe. I definitely recommend it. I think I want to try another Ancestry one to see what else comes up, and I'll give really cool updates if we find anything else because of this app, because a lot of cool things can come from this. Another fun fact, which I made fun of my mom for, you can find out how many variants you have that are like, that come from being like from Neanderthal DNA in composition, and my family is very high on that chart. It says percentage wise where you land with other 23andMe customers, and I am the top 90%. Like way up there for having an extremely high amount, even more than some of our cousins, which means I probably picked it up from both sides of my DNA. Extremely high, 90%. But like I said, my mom also took it, and my mother is, I think it's at 95 or 96 percentile. She is one of the highest scoring person with the most, like one of the most variants. There are still a bunch of people who of course are up there, and that only is like 4% of your DNA. It doesn't really exceed that, but it is kind of funny that we have the most like Neanderthal DNA in there, and it was kind of, we keep making jokes about that, but historically I think that's pretty amazing. You know, it makes you wonder where in your DNA having more variants could come from, because you are made up of a few different things. But I'm definitely going to be doing more research. I definitely want to find more of this whole Scandinavian thing, because I feel like that's so exciting to me, and it's just, there's so much rich history that's right down my alley. I've always been interested in that, and it turns out I'm Scandinavian, so why not? I also want to look up more of the Iberian thing. I know it's extremely slim for my DNA, but there is still a lot of cool things to be known there, and it is in my bloodstream somewhere up in her. So it's kind of important to me to get to know the things that have been lost at sea that I didn't know about. But thank you guys for joining me and being so patient. If more updates come, I will go ahead and make another video. Thank you. Subscribe if you like my channel. I have other videos that I do, and this is really crappy content, but I do hope to make some really cool videos, because I love YouTube, and YouTube is a great place to be extremely creative. So this Scandinavian lady is out. I will see you guys next time. Bye!